In this explainer, we're going to hack your biology. Seriously, we're going to explore the practical science behind a hidden off switch for your stress and turn your body's response from something that just happens to you into a skill that you can consciously master.
Okay, let's dive right in with a feeling I think we all know. That feeling of being completely overwhelmed. Like your engine is just always running hot and you're caught in this cycle of stress you just can't seem to shake. It's exhausting, right? Well, it turns out there's a very specific biological reason for that feeling.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the body's basic stress switch. Then we'll meet the star of the show, your vagus nerve. After that, we'll see how you can actually measure its performance with something called HRV. Dive into the most powerful tool you have to control it, your breath. And finally, we'll look at some really cool advanced ways to train your nervous system.
First things first, let's get into the basic wiring of your body. You've really only got two main operating modes, two settings that pretty much dictate how you feel and respond to everything. Understanding this is absolutely step one to taking back control. And here they are. Think of it like a car. On one side, you've got your sympathetic nervous system. That's your gas pedal. It's your fight or flight response built for emergencies. It just floods you with adrenaline, jacks up your heart rate, and gets you ready for action. On the other side is the parasympathetic system. That's your brake pedal. This is your rest and digest mode, slowing things down, helping you recover, and saving energy. Now, a healthy life is a constant, flexible dance between these two. The problem is when we get our foot stuck on the gas.
So the big question is, how do we get our foot off that gas pedal and onto the brake? Well, let's introduce the main character in this whole story, a huge, powerful nerve that acts as the master switch for calm.
Say hello to the vagus nerve. Its name literally means wandering nerve, and you can see why. It's this incredible biological superhighway that starts in your brainstem and travels all the way down, branching out to connect to your heart, your lungs, and even your gut. It's the main line for that rest and digest system, sending signals of safety and calm from your brain to your body, and, just as important, from your body back to your brain. And this is a super important idea, vagal tone. Think of it just like muscle tone. The stronger and more toned your vagus nerve is, the better it is at hitting the brakes and slowing you down after something stressful happens. High vagal tone is basically a biological sign of resilience. It means your body is better at managing itself, and that's linked to better physical health, better emotional regulation, basically a better ability to handle whatever life throws at you. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually know if our vagus nerve is toned and doing its job? Is there like a way to measure this resilience? Well, it turns out there absolutely is, and it's a really powerful and accessible biomarker. The answer is something called heart rate variability, or HRV. Now, you might think a healthy heart beats like a perfect metronome, tick-tock, tick-tock. But that's actually not true. A healthy heart has tiny, natural variations in the time between each beat. Maybe there's a 0.9-second pause, then a 1.1-second pause. HRV measures this constant, subtle fluctuation, and it gives us a direct window into how active our vagus nerve is and how balanced our whole system is.
So here's the bottom line. More variability is a really, really good thing. High HRV means you've got strong vagal tone, your system is flexible, adaptive, and resilient. It can speed up or slow down exactly when it needs to. On the flip side, low HRV, a heartbeat that's too much like a metronome, is a red flag. It tells us that your fight or flight system's running the show, your brakes aren't working so well, and that leads to higher chronic stress and, as we're about to see, some pretty significant health risks.
And this is where things get really serious. I mean, look at this number. This isn't just about feeling a little stressed out. The stakes are incredibly high. A major study found that after a heart attack, patients with low HRV had an almost 4 times greater risk of dying within 3 years compared to people with high HRV. It's an unbelievably powerful predictor of survival. And it's not just about heart health. Poor vagal tone, which we see as low HRV, is a risk factor across your entire system. Get this. Studies found that U.S. Marines with lower HRV before they were deployed were more likely to develop PTSD after deployment. It's a strong predictor for developing high blood pressure. It's linked to higher levels of chronic inflammation, which is the root of so many diseases. It's a key marker in post-COVID issues, and it's even been tied to lower survival rates in cancer patients. This is foundational stuff.
Okay, I know that was a little heavy, but now we get to the good news, the really good news.
You have a powerful, completely free, and instantly available tool to influence your vagus nerve and boost your HRV. And it's something you already do about 20,000 times a day.
This quote, wow, it comes from a nurse who was on the front lines during the absolute peak of the pandemic. After she learned a simple vagal breathing exercise, this is what she said. It just perfectly shows the real-world impact of this. It doesn't change what's happening around you, but it changes your ability to handle it. The work is still hard, but it's not so heavy. That's powerful.
So what's actually happening here? Well, the scientific term is respiratory vagus nerve stimulation, or RVNS. But here's all you need to know. It's all about slow, controlled breathing, with a special focus on a longer exhale. See, when you breathe in, your heart rate naturally speeds up a little. When you breathe out, the vagus nerve kicks in and slows it back down. So by just making your exhale longer than your inhale, you are manually activating your body's brake pedal. You're literally telling your system, hey, it's safe to calm down now. So you want to try a super simple, evidence-based way to do this? It's the 4-8 breath. It's built on that 1-to-2 ratio of inhale to exhale that research shows is incredibly effective. It's easy. You just breathe in through your nose for a slow count of 4, and try to feel your belly expand, not your chest. Then you breathe out very slowly through pursed lips, like you're blowing through a straw, for a count of 8. Just do that for 10 breaths. That's it. 2 minutes. It can have an immediate noticeable effect on your nervous system. And while that 4-8 ratio is a great place to start, there are other ways to do it. The key is always deep belly breathing instead of that shallow, anxious chest breathing. Another really powerful one is the VU breath. It's a little weird, but it works. On that long, slow exhale, you just make a deep, vibrating VU sound, kind of like a foghorn. That vibration in your throat and chest gives an extra bit of stimulation directly to the vagus nerve. Okay, so breathing is your superpower. It's foundational. But for those of you who want to take this to the next level, maybe you're a bit of a biohacker, technology can give you some incredibly precise feedback and even more targeted ways to train this system. Here are 2 really fascinating approaches. First, you've got HRV biofeedback. Think of this like having a personal trainer for your nervous system. You wear a little sensor that shows you your HRV in real time, and it guides you to breathe at the perfect speed for your body to maximize your vagal tone. It's like perfectly tuning your engine for calm. Then there's something totally different, the Safe and Sound protocol. This is a 5-hour listening therapy. It uses specially filtered music that basically acts as an acoustic vagus nerve stimulator, training the little muscles in your ear to pick up on cues of safety in the human voice. It helps reset a hypervigilant nervous system, which is why it's so helpful for things like autism and PTSD. You know, whether you're just using a simple breathing exercise or some advanced technology, the goal is always the same. It's about building your ability for self-regulation. It's about teaching your body how to consciously shift out of a state of chronic, mindless reaction into a state of calm, mindful regulation. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's simple, and it's incredibly empowering. You are not just a passenger when it comes to your stress response. You can consciously influence this system. And your breath? That's your remote control. Regulating your own body is a learnable skill, just like riding a bike. And it's a skill that makes you more resilient to pretty much everything life can throw at you. And I think this is a really important way to think about it. We're moving beyond just coping with stress. This is about being proactive. It's about training your nervous system, strengthening your vagal tone, and building a more resilient, adaptive, and healthy foundation from the inside out. It's preventative medicine in its most fundamental form. So, I'll leave you with this question, because the power to shift your state, to calm your system, to start building that resilience, it isn't something you need to schedule for next week. It starts right now with your very next breath. What could you change with it?